Ladies and gentlemen, this is Why Was India Partitioned? Short 10-minute documentary by the channel History Matters. Obviously, I know a bit about this since I'm Indian. You'd be really effed up for me to not know about this since I know a lot of topic. It'd be really weird. But yeah. Okay, first of all, at the base of it, India was partitioned obviously because of the religious issues, right? Now, first of all, many believe that, the India basically got divided, partitioned, based on because most of India is obviously Hindu, right? There's another alternate name for India, which is Hindustan, which is a Persian name. I don't know, but yeah, it's Hindustan. But there's a reason behind that. So majority of it is Hindu, obviously, and the Muslim League, if I remember correctly, I think that was the name. They basically wanted to, have their own part of India that is for Muslims basically. So it was based on religion. Obviously, lots of people didn't want to partition India based on religion, right, and make a religion center of it all, right? It was all about the nations rather than being a religion. And lots of people also believed that Britain was behind the, that part, like the Britain was kind of secretly helping Muslim League, create this kind of a major issue to create separate India for that. So just divide and conquer type mentality. I don't know, because of spite, because of the independence movement or whatever. That's basically lots of people believe. There is no hard evidence behind this, so who knows? But yeah, knowing Britain, it could be true. Who the hell knows? But the real point is that Muslim League wanted to divide it based on religion. Lots of people didn't want it to include religion as a main factor. But yeah, there you go. So Hindustan name given for the India that we know of today, I guess, and Pakistan, right? I don't know. The name is based on the. I don't remember what it's the name based on, but Pakistan basically for the Muslims, that was the issue. There were lots of riots, right? I remember there was also lots of movie in India based on that, right? Hindu-Muslim, riots and all the issues like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's more detail to it, but besides that, there's just religious factor. But we'll see it. Remember, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. I like History Matters. I like reacting to History Matters. Their topic is really, just short videos and topics are really great. So yeah, that's what it is.
By the end of the Second World War, it was clear to many in Britain that Indian independence was inevitable, a notable exception being Winston Churchill, who wanted India to remain a British dominion at all costs and for all time. But since he had just been voted out of office, no one really cared what he thought anymore.
Yeah, I'll let Bengal famine go out of hand, but I want India as myself. Sure, that's gonna go well, even though everybody in India hated him, right? They thought he's worse than Hitler or something, so I don't know.
He was replaced by Clement Attlee, who was sympathetic to Indian independence, and so as Prime Minister he began the process that would lead to it. Of course, there's one thing you'll have noticed about British India before and after independence. It was partitioned. The question is, why? Now, before continuing, it's important to clear up some common misconceptions. The first is that Ceylon, now Sri Lanka, was not a part of British India, although it did achieve independence at the same time. The second is that Burma had previously been a part of British India, but was, by the end of the Second World War, administered separately. The third thing to make clear is that Britain didn't rule...
Yeah, there is lots of religious stories and lots of stories and background behind India and Sri Lanka. So it's pretty surprising to see Sri Lanka was never part of India. But you could, story with Ramayana and things like that, right? So you would think like there would be lots of connections, lots of Indian live there, lots of Sri Lankans also live in the southern India. So I don't know.
All of India directly. Some of it was ruled by Indian princes like in Hyderabad. So British India was incredibly diverse and was home to many peoples, languages and religions. Although frankly this was mostly lost on the British, who largely saw everyone as being under one category, ours. There were many of these peoples calling for independence from Britain, but very few were pro-partition. The British...
Africa, India, right? Who gives a fuck? See, there is more complicated structure to this. There's certain places called Hyderabad, they are their own, and there is certain part in the West India that is also part of... What you talking about? Beyond Indus River is ours. Write it as Britain.
British Viceroy in India in 1947 was Lord Mountbatten, who, alongside Attlee, wanted an independent India to remain united so it would make a stronger ally in the Cold War. The pro-independence...
Wait a minute, what?
The British was. There were many of these peoples calling for independence from Britain, but very few were pro-partition. The British Viceroy in India in 1947 was Lord Mountbatten, who, alongside Attlee, wanted an independent India to remain united so it would make
That's surprising. So this is opposite of lots of people who believe that Britain was behind the Muslim League, who wanted it to partition, but apparently not. British were the one who wanted it to stay intact because they wanted India as a strong country against the Cold War, huh? Well, that is surprising.
Stronger ally in the Cold War. The pro-independence Indian National Congress was opposed to division since they felt it would weaken India. The main proponents of partition were the Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Jinnah believed that since an independent India would be overwhelmingly Hindu, the rights and needs of the country's Muslim minority would be trampled on. Thus, to him, it was necessary for the creation of an independent Muslim state called Pakistan. In case you're wondering, the name Pakistan is a sort of acronym made up of the majority Muslim states in northwest India. Punjab, Afghania, Kashmir, Indus, Sindh and the Tan comes from Baluchistan. Tensions continue to...
Whoa, really? I didn't know that. And of course, it's one of the more highlighted part of it, because I bet most people don't realize that, most replayed one. I bet most people don't realize what Pakistan stands for, but it's a literal,
acronym made up of the majority Muslim states in northwest India. Punjab, Afghania, Kashmir, Indus, Sindh and the Tan comes from Baluchistan. Tensions continue to rise throughout India as demands for independence and also for an independent Muslim state continue to grow. After winning an India-wide election, the Indian National Congress largely refused to negotiate with the Muslim League, and the British were mostly looking to keep their hands clean at this stage. As violence continued to break out, no one was able to keep the idea of a united India alive, and so in the end the inevitable was agreed to. Upon its independence, India was to be partitioned into at least 2 countries. As such, the reasons for Indian partition are quite clear. It was the desire of the Muslim minority within India to have control over its own affairs, and a fear that their rights wouldn't be protected that divided the subcontinent. So now that the why has been established, our attention should turn to the how, because one of the most controversial things about partition was how the new nation's borders were drawn. The task fell to the British and Lord Mountbatten, and it was decided that all of the states within India were to have 3 options: join India, join Pakistan, or to become independent states. Most opted for the first 2, but some states, most notably Hyderabad and Kashmir, wished to be independent. The districts of Bengal and Punjab were to be divided, and the relevant Hindu and Muslim populations there were to be resettled from one country to another. Many in India and Pakistan were concerned about the population transfer becoming violent, but Britain promised there wouldn't be any problems. A promise that wasn't within their power to honour. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for watching, with extra thanks to my patrons that you see on screen now. And a special thanks to James Bisonet, David Archaeologist, Guy Chappelle and the
Yep, so there you go. I kind of knew that, religious factors, but one misconception lots of people have that Britain wanted it to be partitioned to weaken India just out of spite is not true. I mean, spite really, most time it never works at an international stage, right? It's always profit. Profit, sometimes negligence comes to mind, right? If somebody doesn't get much out of something, they don't care. We've seen that with British rule a lot of time, right? With their border drawing, they don't give a shit. Let's just draw the border. It's understandable, but spite rarely come into effect. So it does make sense that they wanted a bigger ally against the Cold War. So they are not the one who wanted partition. If anything, they were against it, right? So that is something when Democratic Party of India or whatever didn't want to negotiate with the Muslim League, Britain not our problem because we never wanted to be partisan anyway, so why the fuck would we help you? That kind of makes sense. But then riots basically forced to partisan anyway. But yeah, so religion and politics is kind of fucking complicated, and every country in the world you see a religious issue somewhere here and there in the history basically. So yeah, or people, religion or race issue, whatever, but every country has something like that. Alright, well, that was Why Was India Partitioned by the channel History Matters. If you like my reaction, do like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.